Hey guys, what's going on? It's Russell. Thought I'd do another review about Humble Traders Academy. I did the review of this probably 2 weeks ago now. I posted a video on it and it's this video. I'll post a link in the description below so that you can go and check it out. Also, I'll post a link to the actual Humble Trader Academy review on my website, stockalertsreview.com, and I'll give a link in the description so you guys can go and read more about this course that Humble Trader has produced called Humble Trader Academy. So I love this course. I think it's a really good course, and I'm been kind of surprised at how many negative comments or reviews that I've seen from people on Humble Traders. And I mean, I get it. You're paying a lot. I think it costs $1,500 roughly. Actually, let's go and check. So this thing just launched, so it's not like it's been around for very long. Let's see. So if you go to Humble Trader's website, you can go to join, click on here, and basically she seems to have rolled her Discord alert service into the Academy. So you pay one flat fee, I think. Let's see. It'd be helpful if they had a button that lets me. Here we go. Yeah. So 1 year access to Humble Trader Academy and the Discord server. So you used to be able to do the Discord separately. I was in it. It was pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty good. And now they've combined it so you're forced to buy the course, which is Humble Trader Academy, and then you get access to Discord as well, which isn't actually a bad deal because the Discord was $100 a month, so that would be $1,200 alone, and you're getting this extensive, really in-depth course with it. So actually, it's not a bad deal when you think about it. Sometimes one of these courses alone would cost this, but you get the alerts in the Discord community as well, so not bad at all. Anyway, let me address the issues. So I came across Carl's channel. You guys might be familiar with him. An amazing guy, does amazing reviews and stuff. The Real P&L. And he's super scientific about his reviews. He goes into all the details. In my opinion though, he's a little bit harsh, and that's what I kind of want to talk about in this video, is his standards are so ridiculously high that everything comes across looking like it's not worth the money or it's a scam of some sort. And I'm kind of the opposite. I'm more like chilled out, and I try services and I see I don't sit there and demand like profit and loss statements from people. I don't think you need that. It doesn't really help. They can still fake that if, it's not something that would be that hard to fake if they really wanted to. It's not something that I put that much importance in because you can have two different traders taking the same alerts or learning the same course material, and the financial outcomes will be completely different, right? You could have somebody who buys too much of a stock when somebody says just buy a little bit, and then it goes against them, and that's just completely wiped out their account. Or you can have somebody who's more moderate and takes equal position sizes and alerts, so you can't really judge like what the person was given the alert out. Their profit and loss isn't going to be the same as your profit and loss, is what I'm trying to say. So I use alert services just as a kind of a guide. Don't follow people blindly anyway. So what their actual profit and loss is, I don't really care, as long as they're making money and they're good at teaching and good at helping me find ideas if I'm too lazy to do it myself. So anyway, let me play you a bit of this video and I'll go through and kind of give my rebuttal to it. So Carl from Real P&L did this Humble Trader review video. I think he did 4 parts and this is part 4. So let's just see what he has to say on the
Question
edge.
number 2, what is your edge? I asked this of her specifically, and she said her edge was setups and risk management. I asked for the specific videos that went over her edge, and she sent me to a couple videos that I had already watched in the Get Started section.
So I'm not sure if Carol's talking about the actual course, the Trader Academy, because I'll show you in a minute what's actually in the course, and really, I'm not quite sure what he's talking about here. So I'll show you that in a second. But anyway, so he's basically questioning what is the edge. So in his criteria, he has 16 different criteria, and some of them are very reasonable, and some of them are kind of out there, like show me your bank account, basically, show me your profit and loss, which if I see a lot of this, if somebody doesn't give a profit and loss or an account statement, they're immediately labeled as a scam because they would definitely show that if that's what they were really making. I don't agree with that, but I don't want to go into all of that just now, maybe in a different video. Anyway, we'll keep going.
Now these videos had nothing specific, nothing actionable to follow as far as specific rules. I was led down the subjectivity.
With MailChimp's Customer Journey Builder, you can connect with
An ad playing in the middle of this.
more customers and leave.
Okay, so let's go back to here.
Keep on trying, keep on buying business model when I asked her for specifics on her edge.
Okay, so he's asking about specifics on her edge. So let me go to the Humble Trader Academy dashboard. If we can find it, here we go. So specifics. So she has, it's a huge course, and I've showed this in the previous video, and on the in the link below you can see the video that I did in depth of every module and the review that I went to in every single module. But I wanted to kind of emphasize this, and it's something that I care about quite a bit, because I feel like there's a lot of value in a course, even if somebody else says, well, I could learn that elsewhere online. And sure, that's true. But if you think about the value of it from somebody, like if you were to go and learn from the best, car mechanic, for example, be their trainee basically, they're not going to be able to teach you much else that you wouldn't be able to find elsewhere, right? So they're going to teach you how to do such and such and such, and maybe they'll give you a few tips and tricks, like, I found that if I do this with more oil here, this does this or whatever. So you can see, compare that to learning from Humble Trader. There's no difference. So is Carl and people that are criticizing this idea that you can't learn, you can't do a course, it's not wise to do a course where you could learn the stuff elsewhere for free, say. It's kind of a moot point in my opinion. There's nothing new in most people's courses, right? And even if they say there is, generally it's not really. Most courses I've done, there's absolutely nothing you couldn't learn for free, but it's still important that you learn the material and in an organized way. So I always give the example that one course I did a few years ago, it cost just $200, but at the time I'd never really bought any courses to learn things outside of a standard formal education, and that $200 course has netted me so much money by implementing what I learned in that course. But there was nothing in the course that couldn't have been learned elsewhere. I was paying for that person to spoon feed me the information that I needed and cut out all the rest of the stuff. And that's what Humble Trader does in Trader Academy, is she lays out several strategies, I think 5 of them, with very specific details. And that's where I disagree with the conclusion that Carl's come to on this video, is there actually is exact details, and I can try and show you that. So I'll pick one of the strategies. So there's large cap stocks, short trap consolidation. Let's just use that one, have a look and see. I don't want to show you the course contents, but on the right here you can see the different parts of this unit. So lesson 1 is the psychology behind the trade. That's fantastic, right? It goes into why buyers and sellers will be doing what they'll do probably in this setup. And then she goes into all the different criteria for finding it. Very specific, very disciplined. That's the edge, right? That's part of the edge, is that she's showing you this exact specific setup, and this is exactly what you should look for and why. To me, that's an edge. I mean, a lot of traders just buy random stocks, or they just buy when it bounces off a support line or anything. What Humble Trader gives in this academy is a lot more in depth than that. So then, in each of these units that she describes her strategies in, this is always the same layout. She'll have the psychology behind the trade, then the criteria, so finding the actual trade, very specific, very detail orientated, and then there'll always be the execution part. So here it's the short trap consolidation long execution, and she'll go into every exact specific rule behind it. So that's why I have a little bit of a hard time when people like Carl say that she has no edge, she has no rules. That's not true. In the academy that at least I did, she has very, very clear rules, and in fact at the end you can't move on until you do the quiz, right? So the quiz will be it basically asks you the rules. The question will be, what do we look for exactly before we pull the trigger on a short trap consolidation long execution, And they're hard. You have to watch the detail. It's not vague advice that you can just guess. You actually have to learn the strategy. And sure, the strategy is not rocket science most of the time. We're not talking about she's gone out and come up with these amazing new approaches. So I agree in that point. However, they're definitely worth going through because of the organization and structure and discipline that she gives on each step. So you don't do this until you find this, and then you do this when you find this. It's very, very good. I'm very impressed with it in general, and so I don't really agree with the comments about there is no edge. I think that she's one of the most disciplined traders I've ever seen. So anyway, let's continue with a couple more points from Carl.
My conclusion is that she has no edge. Number 3, I asked, or I tried to find out, is the course proprietary? Now, after going through a small portion of the course and asking Shay to...
So a quick comment here is, for some reason Carl seems to be obsessed with proprietary, so in each of his videos he has this link to my free proprietary course. I haven't talked to Carl about this yet. I was going to do an interview with him soon though. But this idea of proprietary, so ownership, I mean, it's kind of weird to me that that would be such a big deal. It's certainly not high up on my thing because, you know, have you ever done a course that's proprietary? Like, not really. I mean, if somebody's selling an options trading strategy, for example, generally it goes along the same, you know, the same kind of course. They'll show you, you know, here's how to sell a cash secured put. This is what I do, and you know, maybe a couple things will change, like, oh, I sell when it's 50% down or 80%. You know, this idea that the information, of course, has to be this unique proprietary thing, to me, doesn't really sit that well, because there's pretty much no courses I've come across that have benefited from that actually is super proprietary, that like they own the strategy. I haven't, to be fair, I haven't gone through Carl's proprietary course yet. I did sign up for it and I started to get the emails, so I'll need to do that. It's a little bit outside my comfort zone in terms of option spreads strategies though, so I might have somebody with a bit more expertise look through it with me and see if we can come to any conclusions on it. Anyway.
Narrowed down where I could find her edge. I would expect to see the edge described in detail, or in a way.
Again, if there are no rules to follow, there are rules to follow, Carl. If you go on to here, every one of these, and there's a lot of them, every strategy is outlined in detail with the rules, completely clearly, you know, part of the education. And maybe Carl didn't get access to the Humble Trader Academy like this. Maybe it was a different like precursor course type thing or something. So, not saying that he's wrong. I'm just saying that's not my experience so far.
That I could follow. The edge was not something I could implement, at least not with any consistency. And if there are no rules to follow, then there's nothing proprietary. And I believe there is nothing here that I couldn't find elsewhere on YouTube.
Well, that's also a little bit weird, right? If there are no rules to follow, then there's nothing proprietary. I mean, I get it. It's just a bit weird. I don't think you should be poo-pooing a course just because he thinks that the stuff is available elsewhere. To me, that doesn't matter.
For free. Now, obviously, the way the material is organized is different than anywhere else, but I would not call that proprietary. Is the course proprietary? In my opinion, no. Number 4, what kind of returns? Okay,
well, I guess that covered most of what I wanted to say. Make sure you go and check out the Humble Trader Academy review that I have. I'll put it, like I said, in the link in the description below. You'll see like all the different stuff I went through, like every unit, like everything about it, screenshots of me completing the lessons, basically everything that you want to know about this course. And if you're thinking about joining this course, maybe you're a newer trader and you're thinking that this might be something that would help you a lot, feel free to reach out in the comments or to email me, and I can kind of help you through some of the stuff, and we can talk about what my experience was and things like that before you spend your hard-earned money. So, alright guys, well that covers it for the Humble Trader Academy review for today. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.